Okay, hello everyone. How are you guys doing? I hope everyone's having a great day today. Uh, oh, right, today is the anniversary of Chernobyl, right? Yeah, it is. April 26, 1986. It's 40 years since the disaster. Yeah, you're right. Hi, Pro. Good evening, bro. How are you doing, Daniel? Thank you for the super chat. How are you, man? I'm doing good, GTA Gar. How are you, man? Hey, Jonathan. Anyone need help selling, just send me an invite. If you need help, anything. How's my day going? My day's going good. Guess what I'm eating? Sushi. How's your weekend? Good. Can I join and sell? Yeah, do you have me added? Anyone need help? Just send me an invite. Okay, there we go. Yes, I heard about that with just the age verification stuff. It's stupid. How's weather in your place? It's clear. It's fine. How are you? Hmm. I can't send a super chat right now because I'm in Istanbul and there's some sort of financial conflict. That's fine, random fist. You don't have to apologize for that. It's fine, dude. Uh, yes, the Zero video is coming out this week, guys. I know a lot of polls I've been asking you guys. It is coming out this week. I finished writing the entire script last night, and I already recorded the entire all the footage, all the gameplay footage I needed. I recorded all of it, and I have the script written up. The only thing I need to do is just put the footage in and just read my script over and edit it together. Um, Thursday, I think that Thursday it'll be up. So Thursday, I think it'll be up. Uh, Pro, people are attacking the Scientology buildings in a trend called speedruns. They basically go through the building as fast as possible doing something. Please tell me that I'm not alone in thinking this is beyond stupid. It is. It's ridiculous. Look, I will be honest with you, Cayman. I think that Scientology is a stupid religion. You know, I don't even think it really is a religion. But at the same time, I don't think people should be getting harassed. I don't think people should be trespassing on private property and bothering people and vandalism or whatever else they're doing. You can't do that. That's illegal. So, as much as I disagree with Scientology, no, they shouldn't be getting harassed. You can't do something like that. It puts me in a really awkward position because I have to defend them, but it's still wrong. It's still wrong, to harass anybody and do crap like that. So you can't do stuff like that. It's dumb. Um, Slick, it's me. Hey, Zay, how are you doing, dude? Yeah, I heard about that. I'm gonna message Gilly Master this week and see if I can add him. So I heard he's on PlayStation now. Yeah, I'll contact him later this week. He's a friend of mine, so he'll probably add me and we can play together. Who's my favorite GTA protagonist ever? Nico. Yes, I have, Adrian. When's the next DLC? June. So in a month and a half. What's the next playthrough after 50 Cent? It is going to be it's going to be uh what's it called? SOCOM 3. GTA 4 anniversary is Wednesday. Yep, and we'll do a playthrough of that. I voiced the opinion on Reddit after seeing someone support it, and I got downvoted to hell, and people looked like they supported the speedrunners. I'm going insane. Yeah, look, dude, you are right, and it doesn't look. And here's the thing is, um, I forget what the term is for this, but there's a specific term for like an art. Maybe somebody knows in the chat what it's called, but it's where somebody basically uses the majority argument. So basically, people will say, "Oh, the majority of people agree with me, so therefore I'm right." And no, that's not the case. Just because the majority of people agree with somebody, have like a specific view, does not mean that they're right. So like you could have 99% of people believe something, but they're still wrong. So it doesn't it doesn't matter what the majority of people think, and don't worry about getting downvoted and stuff like that, because you are right. You cannot harass people. You can't do something like that. You can't trespass on private property, even if it's against Scientology. Scientology, like I said, it's a stupid religion. It's my opinion, at least. I don't think it really is a religion, but at the same time, is you can't be harassing people. You can't be trespassing on their property. You can't be doing crap like that. You can't harass people like that. So that's ultimately what I'll say about that. Is your opinion is right, and it's like the people supporting that are just stupid. I wish the next Mafia game will be open world like 3. Oh, it is, Aaron. Every Mafia game is open world, so don't worry about it. If you mean like 3 where it's gonna have more activities, I hope so. Hey Pro, hope you're well. Will you be replaying Red Dead Redemption 2 on the channel soon? Also, do you think that the car radio stations in GTA 6 will be better and more iconic than the ones in GTA 5? Love your channel. Yes, I'll be replaying Red Dead Redemption 2. I can't give you an exact time, but I can tell you I'm gonna do it before GTA 6 comes out. Do I think the car radio stations in GTA 6 will be better? I hope so, because, guys, the music in GTA 5 sucked. It really did. Like, there are some good songs in this game, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the music I don't like in this game. This game probably has the least memorable radio stations out of all of the GTA games. Like, you look at GTA 4's soundtrack. GTA 4 had so many really good radio stations. Radio Broker, Vladivostok, Los Santos, Rock Radio, Radio Broker. This one, there are some good songs, but they're really not that good. The Vice City, amazing soundtrack. San Andreas, amazing soundtrack. Even GTA 3, amazing soundtrack. So that's I would like to see some really good songs, but don't I don't know if they're gonna do that, because they're gonna have to pay licensing fees and everything like that, and you know how cheap they can get. Thank you, Thomas Walsh. I found you about a week ago. I play all of your stuff while I work my factory life. Thanks for your work. No problem, Siren Noir. If I can ask you, how did you find my channel? What video specifically did you find me through? Yo, what's up, bro? Hey, Florida made RJ, how you doing, man? Yes, today is the 40th anniversary of the Chernobyl disaster, yes. I disagree with you about GTA 5 radio. I don't think... Look, GTA 5 radio isn't the worst. There are some good songs in it, but it's, I think, the worst in the series compared to all the other, stations that we've had. Yeah, I'll try to do it, Brandon. I found you on Why I Hate PvP video while I was having similar sentiments. Oh, that one, yeah. That video went viral. I was honestly surprised at how much that video blew up. I really was. Because that video is, that video really blew up. It's like 210,000 views, I think, now. Like, just me complaining about the PvP and GT Online and how much I hate it. Like, I did not expect that video to get that many views. But I guess a lot of people were just pissed. Argumentum ad populum for your question. Okay, Visionary. Yeah, and when GTA 6 comes out, we'll definitely have some money guides. I'm working on my final GTA 5 money guide, by the way, so I'm gonna have one final guide on this game that I'm working on, like its ultimate final guide. I want to put that out. My day's going good, Jobby. How are you? Do you think we'll get a Fallout game in China? No. We might get like a DLC where we travel to like China for something on like a boat or something that's like a Chinese city, but it's not gonna be like a very large map. You know what I was thinking though? What I think the perfect, you know what I think the perfect setting for Fallout 5 would be? I was thinking that the perfect setting for Fallout 5 should be Anchorage, Alaska. I really think that that would be a perfect setting for Fallout 5. And Anchorage is a decently sized city. Like people think Alaska doesn't have large cities, but Anchorage is a pretty decently sized city. I think it's 300, 400,000 people that actually live there, and it's where the Battle of Anchorage happened. It's where the Great War started. So I think that that would be a perfect location for like the game, and I think that you could have like remnants of like American and like Chinese soldiers that are ghouls that are still there. Um, so I think that that would be like a great setting, and I think that like they could do something like a radioactive like blizzard storm or something like that, and you could have like some crazy Alaskan mutated animals. Like imagine some like wild like crazy mutated moose attacking you or something like that. So I think that Anchorage I think would probably be a really good setting. It's where where the war started. So I think it would be a great setting to have. I think they already had San Francisco in the Fallout world in the older games. Oh, Jenna Brothers were pretty ruthless in Chicago, yeah. The next DLC, guys, I don't think it's gonna be a business. I don't think it is. I think it's just gonna be a bunch of story missions. I think the final DLC that's coming out in like a month and a half, you're gonna be killing Mr. Faber. I think it's just gonna be like a strictly story DLC. That's what I think it's gonna be. Is a Mafia New World confirmed? Will it be with Leo Galante? Nah, I don't think Leo Galante is coming back. I think he's pretty much done. Mafia 3, look at how old he was. I don't think he's gonna come back again. Do I think that World War II would have had a different outcome if Germany didn't invade the Soviet Union? Quite possibly, but here's what I will tell you. Uh, this is this is one of the top questions that I get asked whenever I get asked about World War II history. One of like the top 5 questions I get asked. One of them is always, what if Germany never invaded the Soviet Union? What would have happened? And here's my answer to that question: is the the likelihood of Germany never invading the Soviet Union would have that entire situation would never have happened ever. Like there's no chance of that. Like for example, everybody watching this, you have a better chance of winning the lottery than Hitler like calling off the invasion of the Soviet Union, because Hitler was going to invade the Soviet Union no matter what. Like, there's nothing in history that would have changed that. People always say, like, oh, what if Germany didn't invade the Soviet Union? He was always going to. That was his master plan. He was going to do that right from the start. There is no way he would have ever, changed his view on that. The only way that Germany would not have invaded the Soviet Union is if Hitler died and somebody else took over. That's the only alternative. But with Hitler in charge, he was always going to invade the Soviet Union no matter what, because in Mein Kampf, his propaganda book, he writes about Lebensraum, which is basically the German word for living space, and he talks about how he believes that Slavic people, Eastern Europeans, are inferior to Germans, and he talks about how it should be living space for Germans, that basically Eastern Europe should be colonized for Germany. So that was what he was always going to do. He was always going to invade the Soviet Union. So this idea that if Hitler didn't invade the Soviet Union, he would have won the war. Well, maybe he would have won the war if he didn't invade the Soviet Union. But with Hitler, he was always going to invade the Soviet Union, no matter what. There was never a situation where he wasn't going to invade it. He always planned that from the start. That was literally his master plan from the start. So when you ask that question, what if Hitler never invaded the Soviet Union? It's really an impossible question, because it wouldn't have happened. Why did Mr. Mustache Man do that when he's being attacked by many nations? Why not wait? Because he's stupid. Precisely why. It's like Hitler was the biggest narcissist in human history. Hitler was even a bigger narcissist than Stalin was. Even Stalin wasn't as narcissistic as him. So Hitler basically believed that his word was God, and he basically believed that no matter what, nobody can beat me. I'm unstoppable. He thought that he was basically the smartest person on the planet. So anybody with common sense would tell you that it's not smart to start a war with the largest country on the planet, especially when you haven't even defeated your enemies in the West. But he thought that it would just go smooth. He thought, and here's the ridiculous thing: Hitler Do you know what Hitler planned that operation for? For 3 weeks. That's what Operation Barbarossa was. He believed that he could defeat the entire Soviet Union in 3 weeks. That's what he thought. It took him half a year to get to Moscow. So Barbarossa launched in June 22nd, 1941. It took him until December 1941 to get to Moscow. So that's definitely not the 3 weeks that he believed. And even then, he couldn't take Moscow. So it was a disaster from the start. The whole thing was just gonna completely fall apart. Doesn't look like 60 FPS to me. I think that I might still have fidelity mode on. Let me change it here. Do I? Yes, I do. I'll fix that right now. There we go. Yeah, well, no, I was answering a history question. If GTA 6 Online had a player build type of PvP, PvE for your character, how would you feel on that? Oh, there's like PvE servers and PvP, I would be fine with that. If there was like a server where people couldn't kill each other, I'd be fine with that. I would just focus on doing my businesses and that. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think every server is going to have PvP in it. Thank you, Matt Attack. Germany had no choice. Hitler's downfall was the resistance from Winston Churchill not invading the Soviet Union. Um, the thing is the Germans were basically getting 30% of their steel and their fuel from the Soviet Union. So Germany was getting a lot of gas from the Soviets, and that was not going to stop. And so it was really stupid for Hitler to basically invade the Soviet Union when he was getting everything that he wanted. Like, a lot of people don't know this, but when German tanks took over France in May 1940, they were actually running on Soviet gas. So they were literally using Soviet fuel when they literally steamrolled across France. And so literally the Nazis were pretty much getting everything they wanted in trade from the Soviets. So both countries were actually making money, both countries working together, but Hitler was, like I said, stupid. He was narcissistic. He thought that he could take on the entire Soviet Union. He thought that it would just fall apart when he just invaded, and it was just, the whole thing just backfired on him really badly. Thank you, Daniel Rodriguez, for the super chat. If you play Metal Gear Solid 4, will you have a white mustache to cosplay as Old Snake? What? I don't know if I'll white mustache, but I'll have the outfit, definitely. Thank you, Ronnie, for the super chat. I want to play Metal Gear Solid 4 as my final one. Uh, I want to do it in chronological order. Let me reiterate, I meant like Red Dead Redemption Online. How do you guys, perk, aka your cards? Wait, what do you mean? I'm confused now. You said like Red Dead. You're asking me if GTA 6 is like Red Dead Redemption Online with the perks? Is that what you're asking me? Like the perk cards? I really missed the G4 channel X play. I don't know if I remember that one, Agent. Is Red Dead Online worth replaying? It's worth playing. If you never played it before, yeah, you have plenty of content to play before GTA 6 comes out, but it's not a fun game to play by yourself. Play it with friends, though. I missed a milestone chat? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me look. Oh, I was, I read it. It was from Mad Attack. Yeah. Will there be golf in GTA 6? Oh, almost certainly, yeah. Yeah, there probably will be, Daniel. I just hope there's pool, like billiards, because we saw like billiards tables in the gameplay, so I hope they actually bring back pool from GTA 4, because that's one of the things that pissed me off that this game didn't have pool. Do you know that Aztecs sacrificed people and used them as meat in their dishes? Yes, the Aztecs sacrificed thousands of people. They cut out their hearts, that is true. Will I play 50 Cent Bulletproof? Yeah, I could go to playing it one day. Not right now at the moment, but yeah, I could maybe play it later this year. Yeah, I guess everyone has their taste in music, Spreezo. I just didn't like it. Yes, there was a planned German invasion of Switzerland, but it was abandoned. Where is the Majima Saga? I could maybe do that later in May. So this month coming up. Top three World War II movies. Um, I think probably Saving Private Ryan would be on there. Um, I would say my favorite World War II movie probably would be this 1970s movie called Cross of Iron, if anybody's watched it. Cross of Iron is a British-German film. It's a film from the German perspective on the Eastern Front, and it's a very, anti-war movie, and it just shows how just bad war is in general, and it just shows how the leaders really don't care about the lives of their soldiers. So I think Cross of Iron is probably my favorite World War II movie. It's always that movie's always had a special place in my heart. When it comes to Pacific, the Pacific, I don't know about a movie, but specifically the TV show The Pacific. I think that that's probably the best portrayal of the Pacific conflict. Band of Brothers is also really good, but that's a TV show. The Pianist is a really good movie. Yes, I've seen Pianist. Pianist is a very good movie. There's also Uprising, which is a movie about the Warsaw Uprising. It's a Polish movie. That one's also really good. Thank you, Daniel Rodriguez. The golf activity in GTA 6 is gonna foreshadow Lucia killing off Nico with a golf club. What? And you're gonna find out that like what Lucia is like one of the daughter of like one of the gangsters that Nico killed in like in GTA 4. Imagine Lucia is like the daughter of that gangster that like Nico pushed off the apartment roof in GTA 4 that owed Ray Pacino money, and then she just kills him for like Last of Us 2 style. Oh yeah, I'm gonna add Gilly Master. Thank you, Brand Don Rios. Thank you for the super chat. What's my height and weight? I'm about 160 pounds. My height about 6 feet. Thank you, Glover Fox, for the super chat. I did like the golf in GTA 5. Yeah. Thank you, Daniel. Mad Attack, are you still here? You don't have to super chat me again. I was just trying to answer your question earlier. I was confused. Are you asking me if like if GTA 6 had like PvP cards, like player cards, like Reddit Online? Is that what you're asking me? Yeah, Frank Gusenberg was the only survivor of the Valentine's Day massacre, but he passed away later on. You really made no sense logic. GTA San Andreas, how CJ knows Catalina's hideout trailer and mission first base Catalina calls CJ. She never gives CJ an address. Wait, what? Agent Reaper? I'm. Yes, I did hear about that, Javi. No, I didn't. I didn't know about that. That arcade gamer. Yes. Yeah, I will. I will do a playthrough of the other Jedi game one day. Uh, 50 Cent Blood in the Sand can actually be a pretty difficult game. How CJ knows Catalina's mini house trailer. I don't know. You know how he knows that she's there. No, they're not gonna release a GTA 4 HD release. They're not gonna do that. Thoughts on Lewandowski not qualifying for the last World Cup? I didn't know he didn't. Nice outfit. Well, thank you. Uh, thank you, Casey. I missed your super chat, Carter. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. What was that? A deer? Crap. Okay, hold on 1 second. So I want to deliver this. He was a very interesting figure, D Rose, but you know, both him and Martin Luther King Jr. had gotten assassinated. There's actually a lot of conspiracies about both of their deaths. Like a lot of people think that the FBI had killed Martin Luther King Jr. Here we go. Delivered it in less than 4 minutes. That was an easy one. That makes no sense, the physics in this game, right? That a small car like that can manage to turn this thing. Okay, let me see here. I missed someone's super chat. Carter super chat. I'm sorry. Let me look at Carter. Oh, I should play Cyberpunk 2077. It's better now. Yeah, and that I've never played it, I think it would work out pretty good for me. By the way, guys, do you know what's coming out? The Mind's Eye Story DLC is coming out. I don't know if I should play that or not. We might just play that for the memes. I know people would laugh so much if I played through it again. Uh, but yeah, I'm down for playing Cyberpunk 2. You heard about Star Fox Event Horizon? It's a fan game about the Star Fox series where the gameplay is similar to Ace Combat, but in space. It's free. That's very risky. The developers could copyright claim that. Or are they doing that? I'll definitely look into it, General's Alert. Was that insinuating you said I'm arrogant? I said, damn right, that's pride. I saying I am Princess Vegeta Ultimate Warrior race? Wait, what? Are you making a Dragon Ball reference there, Agent Reaper? Would I rather be a North Korean soldier in the Korean War or a Chinese soldier in the Second Sino-Japanese War? That one's easy. Rather be a Chinese soldier in the Second Sino-Japanese War or Sino-Japanese War, but I don't want to be communist. I'd rather be the Kuomintang. I like your short. Can you make a video talk about the Battle of Manila? I did talk about the Battle of Manila in my Mafia 2 playthrough. I could try to find that and see if I can put that in. Uh, I gotta upload another history short. I haven't uploaded one in a couple weeks. I don't understand how you can play this after buying everything. Power to you. I play it to help people. We hang out, we talk. People like this game, and people like coming in, chatting with me. A lot of people that come by the streams don't even watch the gameplay. They just come into the chat and ask me questions. That's fine too. Have I ever went on vacation to another country? Yes. Last time was 2010 in Poland. My birthday is on your birthday, but I'm 1 year younger than you. Oh, 6/7/1995. So you are 30 years old right now then? That's crazy. You have the same birthday as me. What was that? He's a bit weird. Hey, pro question. Have I ever seen the anime OVA Gunsmith Cats? It's very cool, firearms heavy neo-noir about a bounty hunter in Chicago. No, I have never seen this one. Is this one on Crunchyroll? What? Thank you, Jolly, for the super chat. Is it odd for someone to like both Mario and GTA? No. Everyone has their likes. I like the Mega Man Legends in GTA, and those games are very, different. Okay. Can you tell me the history about Al Capone, the mafia gangster who rose to fame during the Prohibition era? Yeah, Al Capone is not from Chicago. He's originally from Brooklyn, New York. But Al Capone came out to Chicago and he started working for Big Jim Colosimo and his underboss Johnny Torrio. And what ended up happening is when prohibition became illegal, or alcohol became illegal, Johnny Torrio wanted to go into alcohol. But Big Jim was completely against that. So then Johnny Torrio had Big Jim killed and took over, and Al Capone became his underboss. And then pretty much it goes from there. That afterwards, there was eventually a war with the North Side Gang. They killed the North Side Gang's leader Dino Benian after he basically backstabbed Johnny Torrio, and then Jaime Weiss tried to his Dino Benian's second in command tried to kill Torrio. Torrio almost died, and then Torrio decided to retire to Italy, and he gave the business to Al Capone, and then Al Capone took over, and that was pretty much it. But I will tell you guys something. Do you know something really crazy that's gonna happen? There is gonna be a giant prohibition racket coming up, like in one country in the West right now, where there's gonna be like gangs and mafias that are gonna start getting in on this. But it's not for alcohol. It's specifically for cigarettes. Now, I don't want to scare anybody that's in Britain, but when that stupid new law goes into full effect in Britain, where it's like if somebody is born like after 2009, they can't buy cigarettes. So like cigarettes are illegal for those people now. What's gonna basically this is gonna do is so many people are gonna buy cigarettes illegally, and then they're gonna resell them, and there's gonna be gangs that are gonna be doing this. Organized crime is gonna get in on this 100%, and it's gonna become a giant money-making machine for them. It's gonna backfire really, really badly. I'm telling you, that cigarette ban that Britain is doing, that is gonna backfire very, very badly. It's gonna go very bad, and that's what's gonna end up happening. Is there's gonna be a giant, prohibition racket that's gonna come up with the mafia and organized crime in Britain. It's definitely gonna happen. And you know the really stupid thing is that, so get this, if somebody is born on December 31st, 2008, they can't buy, they can buy cigarettes, but if somebody's born on January 1st, 2009, they can't buy cigarettes. That is ridiculous. That makes no sense whatsoever. Uh, and what the police are gonna have to do is the police are gonna have to ID people now to find out if they're born before like 2000, born before 2009, which is, it's gonna be stupid. It's just absolute stupidity. It's gonna really backfire really badly. It's so stupid. I don't smoke myself, but I don't think it's the government's business to tell people that they can't smoke. The only time I think it could be the government's business is if you're like doing secondhand smoking, if you're like smoking on somebody's private property or smoking in somebody's face, then yeah. But if you want to smoke in your house, you want to smoke on in your car, in your private property, go ahead. It's your right. It's not healthy. It's your right. And I don't like this idea of government like banning cigarettes. I think it's stupid. I don't like it. Okay, I'll look into it, Jolly. That's for Stream Crime Boss. I got to level 70. Oh, okay. Thank you, Slav. Thank you for the super chat. GTA 4 has the best intro. Yeah, one of them, definitely. Yeah. I think that San Andreas might have the best intro, the best one, because of, if you count like the 20-minute introduction that they have. But GTA 4 is the best one in the HD universe, yes. Name 5 Chicago gangs, excluding the Chicago outfit and the Northside gang. Jenna Brothers. Um, Jenna Brothers. It was Damn, I can't do it right now. I'd have to really think about it. I know Jenna Brothers are one of them, but Jenna Brothers, they got into a partnership with the Chicago outfit later on. Where did you send it to me, Shiny Knight? You ever try smoking anything? No. O'Donnell Brothers. Yes, Irish. I'm gonna eventually come back to Drug Dealer Simulator. I don't have the outfit here with me right now because I'm visiting family, but that was a fun one we did. Yes, today is the 40th anniversary of the Chernobyl disaster. Yes, Saltis was there too. Frankie Donovan, was he in Chicago? I don't know if he was in Chicago. Uh, Everything good? Yeah, everything's good. How are you, man? Wait, what did he say then, Liskip? Oh, I thought, because a lot of people always message me on Twitter also, Shiny Knight. Hold R1 here, it will let you turn the boat really quickly. Pro, can I add you on PSN? Sure, what is your, PSN Mustang? Crime Boss stream is epic with the heist, thank you. Yeah, I think that GTA 4 definitely deserves an HD remaster at this point. The main character, Rally Vincent, helped to popularize the CZ-75 handgun, specifically the first edition, in the internet. She's really cool. That's the Czech handgun. CZ-75, that's Czech, right? Czechoslovakian. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it is. Did Uncle Junior have dementia, or was he just faking it? He did actually have it. Okay, Mustang. Thank you, Jolly, for the super chat. Also, I'll definitely look into it. Yeah, SOCOM 3 is gonna be very soon. Uh, SOCOM 3 is gonna be very soon, Josh. Saros? I don't know that game. There we go, got it. Oh, what is it, Shiny Knight? I get that, Vapor, and that's one of the pros of PC, is that PC you don't really have to pay a subscription to play online. Would I rather live in North Korea or Stalin's USSR? Stalin's USSR, because it would be easier to escape. No, I've never watched Squid Game. I know it's a Korean show, but I never watched it. Luis Lopez or Johnny Klebitz? I don't know. I like both of them. I don't want to really pick one. Which South Park movie? There's a few of them. I did watch the South Park movie recently, the one with the obesity movie. I watched that one. Did you know the skull from 50 Cent Blood in the Sand is based on Damien Hirst For the Love of God? It's a platinum cast skull with 8,601 flawless diamonds encrusted. I didn't know about that. What country is this skull in right now? Oh yeah, the cigarette ban is definitely gonna have organized crime that it's gonna get in on that, and there's gonna be violence, Zach. Okay, it's actually close by. Bridge Too Far. That's a British 1970s movie, right? That's about the that is about Operation Market Garden, isn't it? A Bridge Too Far. You know, in June 2026 is gonna ask for age verification worldwide. It's currently in the UK and Ireland, but it's gonna be worldwide in June. It's stupid. It's Sony. Sony already has your age verification. If you made an account, they already know how old you are. So why do they need to ask again? It's stupid. When am I gonna do another Crime Boss stream? It's gonna be some time, Brandon, because next week we're doing GTA 4. Thank you, Carter, for the super chat. And thank you, Brandon. What? What's that? Black Mage. Have I ever fired the Ithaca 37 shotgun? No. What's the scariest super plane in the Ace Combat series? You know, specifically like the giant planes, the scariest one. The Glythier maybe in Ace Combat X, maybe that one. Okay, Shiny Knight. I could also just react to it on my exclusive stream if you want me to. Favorite gun in GT Online? Um, Probably the service rifle. This week coming up, the next exclusive stream, Shiny Knight. I'm gonna post about it tonight. I could make a video on that top 5 strongest, you know, GTA gangs, but if I do that, it's gonna be one. There's gonna be 2 different videos. One on the 3D universe, one on the HD universe. Oh yeah, I'm definitely down to do more 76 streams. You know, the thing is live action role plays LARP. A lot of people that are going to the West Virginia Fallout event, I know that a lot of them do not know the Fallout 76 lore. That's a lot of people are going to dress up in West Coast, even though it's actually for it's for the West Virginia theme. Could I get a copyright claim from it, Shiny Knight? No, Wade lore video isn't canceled. It's still in the works. It's just right now we're doing 0. Which dictatorship is worse, Hitler's Third Reich or Stalin's USSR? Um, I will honestly tell you this. People always say which one is worse, but I really don't know because when you really think about it, would you want to live in either one? That is it's both of them are just psychotic evil regimes, and they're really both the same thing. Like, you know, Hitler and Stalin are really the same thing. People always say, you know, who's worse, Hitler or Stalin, but you know, both Hitler and Stalin built camps, they murdered people, both of them, you know, invaded countries, both of them had secret polices that terrorized people. You know, both of them were massive imperialists. So it's they're literally both were genocidal maniacs. So it's that's what I'll say about it, is that they're really both the same thing. Why don't you support high military spending? Um, because there's really no threat to us here. There's no. I'm not concerned about any country invading us. I think that other countries on other parts of the world should be responsible for their own protection. Uh, when do you think that the third trailer is coming out for GTA 6? I hear May is a huge possibility. Yes, May. Where did that bike go now? I might have to just go on foot from here. Thank you, Richard, for the super chat. What do you gotta go to the DMV for? Do you find Merryweather annoying? Yeah, especially in the online. Yeah, they can be. collect. What? Where are they? Are they up top? Oh crap! Where is it originally from, Vanny? Did Gary die at the end of Bully? No. Yes, there was a GTA London. You keep reposting your questions or statements if you want Pro to be patient. Yeah, thank you for that. Look, if I don't see your question, guys, just feel free to repost a question. I'm not going to time you out for spamming. Uh, just the only thing I ask is just please, just do not leave a comment asking me if I read your comment. Just instead, just ask the comment again. Just ask the same question again. Is Finland allies with Germany in World War II? Please explain. Thank you for the super chat, Jolly. It's complicated. Yes and no. So here's what I will say is Finland was not a full ally of Nazi Germany. Finland was a co-belligerent. A co-belligerent, the difference between an ally and a co-belligerent is that an ally is basically somebody that works together with another country who have common goals. A co-belligerent is basically somebody that will enter a war on the side of one country when they have something to gain. That's basically what a co-belligerent is. Like, they won't necessarily attack the other country, but their main enemy is the other country that the other country is fighting. So, in Finland's case, for example, is Finland was pushed into a corner because Finland was invaded by the Soviet Union in the Winter War. They were actually, before that, a neutral country, so they did not take a side. They didn't want to take Germany or the Soviet Union side, but the Soviets and Stalin was so stupid where they invaded their country. And they invaded in November 1939, and Finland was basically fighting the Soviets until March 1940. And then what happened was the Soviets killed thousands of their people. They bombed their cities, and they killed they killed thousands of their people, like I said, and they annexed Karelia, which was like a region of Finland. Now, when the Germans invaded the Soviet Union in June 22nd, 1941, in Operation Barbarossa, Finland got pissed off at the Soviets and basically invaded at the exact same time the Germans did. But the Finland here's the thing: is Finland the reason that Finland gets a lot of sympathy is because Finland is the only country in the Axis that was a democracy. It is really, and it's also questionable whether Finland actually was in the Axis or not, but it was technically allied with the Axis. It was the only Axis country that was a democracy, the only one. Where every single other Axis country, Japan, Germany, Italy, Romania, Hungary, all of them were dictatorships. The only one that was an actual democracy was Finland, that was in the Axis. It cares about what, Tyler? Thank you for the super chat. My most hated food was chips, cheese, and nuts. Wait, what, Aaron? I But look, about Finland is Finland did not collaborate with Nazi Germany as much as like other powers did. Yes, it did collaborate to an extent, but not to the same extent that like Italy, for example, collaborated, or Romania collaborated, or even Hungary collaborated. Uh, like Finland, for the most part, like refused to deport their Jewish population to Nazi Germany. They didn't do that, and Finland also did not ban Jewish people from serving in their military, even though the Nazis complained about that. So Finland didn't do stuff like that. So did Finland do some bad things during World War II? Sure, but it was not to the extent of some of the other Axis powers. Definitely not on the same. So Finland really is the least evil Axis country out of all of the Axis countries. Finland was the least worst one, definitely. So it was for Finland. It was like more of a matter of survival. It was like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That was basically their whole logic, and why they attacked the Soviets. And then Finland ended up changing sides, in 1944, and they declared war on Germany in the Lapland War because they realized that the war was not going in their favor. You should do a documentary on the 1920s gangs. I kind of did already. I did a video on what was the St. Valentine's Day Massacre where I mentioned a lot of that stuff. It was a video I did 7 years ago, but it was kind of like a little documentary thing. Have you ever heard about Larry Thorn? Yes. He was a Finnish guy. He fought in the Winter War against the Soviets. Then he later joined the Nazi SS, and then after that he joined the U.S. and he fought in the Vietnam War. So literally, he fought in three conflicts. Did Germany ever attack any Nordic countries? Oh yes, Norway. They invaded Norway and they took over Norway, and Denmark also. I don't know if you count Denmark as a Nordic country. Some people say it's Nordic, some people say it's not. But they did attack Norway. So Norway was conquered. Didn't the Nazis hate Uralic people, Estonians, Finnish, and Hungarians? Yes, but not to the same extent that they hated Slavs. Like, they hated Slavs much more than Baltic peoples. God damn. There we go. You hit 1 billion. Tell me your best money making. Buying supplies for the MC businesses, the acid lab, the bunker, and having the nightclub producing, and then in the meantime doing heists and other businesses. Which franchise had more potential, Saints Row or Watch Dogs? I think Saints Row. Saints Row could have really become a competitor to GTA. And they were not punished for their collaboration, not even a slap on the wrist. Well, it's like I said, when it comes to Finland, it's more complicated because it really depends on what you mean by collaboration. So yes, the Finland was on the same side as the Nazis, but they did not pursue Nazi policies. The Finns didn't engage in genocide. The Finns did not deport their Jewish population. They didn't. They didn't. They were on the same side as Nazi Germany, and yes, they did do some bad things. There was some war crimes and some things that the Finns did, but it wasn't to the extent of like Italy or Germany or Italy. And Finland switched sides in 1944 and declared war on Germany. So that's why Finland did get punished. By the way, Finland had a huge chunk of their land annexed by the Soviets after the war. So that's what happened. They lost even more land. So Finland didn't go away like scot free. Do you know the history of the Ustasha in Croatia? Yes, the Ustasha were some pretty crazy guys. Those were some pretty bad guys. They did some pretty horrible things in Yugoslavia during the war. Why did the USSR want to invade Finland? It wanted to turn Finland into a puppet state of theirs, a satellite state, essentially. Favorite heist to make money, Cayo Perico. Yes, we're doing GTA 4 this Wednesday. Pizza, thank you for the super chat. Do you think the mockery of the surrender of France in World War II is unfair? I've heard that they pushed the Nazis back whilst the English evacuated everyone at Dunkirk. Yeah, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't know about. A lot of people don't know that a lot of French soldiers stayed behind and they held off the Nazis while the British evacuated. A lot of people don't know that. So that is true. And I don't think that it's fair to mock the French so much for what happened in World War II. It was like you can blame the French leadership, like the French generals, for a lot of the stuff that went wrong. Like a lot of the French generals were just very stupid and they were very incompetent. And here's the thing with the Maginot Line, the Maginot Line. It was basically this giant wall that France built on Germany's border, and it had like bunkers, minefields, anti-tank traps. It was basically to stop Germany from invading France. And a lot of people say that France's wall was useless, but what a lot of people don't know is that wherever France had the Maginot Line and Germany attacked, Germany could not get through. So whenever Germany attacked the Maginot Line, they actually suffered massive casualties, and they couldn't break through. So it did work. The problem is that the French did not fortify the Belgian border. They didn't build the Maginot Line on the Belgian border. And the Germans basically just invaded through Belgium. They went through the Ardennes in Belgium, and then they went around, and then they encircled the French. That's basically how they managed to conquer France. And the French generals were so stupid because this is exactly what Germany did in World War One. In World War One, they invaded France through Belgium. So I don't like the French generals were stupid that they did not see something Germany doing this again. They didn't see this coming. The one of the reasons the French probably did not build the Maginot Line on Belgium is probably because they didn't want to offend Belgium because they had somewhat friendly relations with Belgium, but it was more for France's protection. So that's what I was saying. And here's the thing is this is what a lot of people don't know. France as a country, France as a country has fought and won more battles than any country in history. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people give the French a lot of crap, but the French actually won and fought the most battles in history out of any country. So, or I should say, any modern country, I should say. So that's what a lot of people don't know that. If you look at France during the Napoleonic Wars, like literally, Germany during the Napoleonic Wars, Prussia was basically like France. Like France steamrolled Germany. They steamrolled them during the Napoleonic Wars. Like they obliterated them. Like it was the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire was like the largest German state. That state existed for 700 years. France abolished that in literally a day. Literally, that was it. Like Napoleon, the Battle of Austerlitz, he obliterated them, like just destroyed them. So a lot of people don't know that the French just humiliated the Germans so badly in the Napoleonic Wars. Everyone blames the French. I don't think that it's fair. Like I said, and look, here's what I will say is, the people that make fun of the French during World War II, here's what I will say about them. The same people who make fun of the French, they don't even have half the courage that the French resistance has. They don't even have half of it. Like, do you honestly think the people making fun of France would have the courage to actually stand up against the Nazis when they were occupying France like the resistance did? No, I don't think they would. So, like, those people got a lot of guts to be able to do something like that under Nazi occupation, knowing you get caught and you get executed. In a Vietnam War, would you rather be a PBR boat crew, um, or in the rivers, or a UH-1 Huey helicopter crew? Maybe which one is worse and which one is better? I honestly don't know. I don't know. Both of those are pretty bad. Both of those. I mean, with the boat, you would probably have more protection, but you're slower at the same time too. With the helicopter, you have less protection, but you're faster. So I really don't know. I don't know which one you have more protection on, Jolly. I read that anti-Semitism was worse in France in the late 1800s than Germany and Austria. Is that accurate? I know the Dreyfus affair happened. Thank you, Steve, for the super chat. Um, I don't know about the I don't know about the late 1800s, but I can tell you Revolutionary France and Napoleonic France was much more friendly towards Jewish people than the rest of the countries. Like Jewish people suffered a lot of discrimination in like Prussia, for example, Austria. They suffered massive discrimination in Spain. Spain was one of the worst that discriminated against Jewish people really badly. So France was one of the few countries where they didn't really suffer, persecution during the French Revolution and the Napoleonic time. So I can't speak on the late 1800s. I don't know that much, but I can tell you the early 1800s during the Napoleonic time, it was much more friendly. Who was my favorite Star Wars character? Boba Fett. No one took the other vehicle. Don't worry about it. I'll deal with it, Brandon. This skull's in Britain. And is it from Britain, though, Vanny? Are documentaries your favorite way to learn about history? Maybe YouTubers, good YouTubers, but also reading a lot. And I will say this: a lot of people give Wikipedia a lot of crap, but Wikipedia is actually a really great resource for learning history. It really is. Uh, because on Wikipedia you can like look up like any kind of battle. Like you could look up the Battle of Stalingrad, for example, and you could like click on the generals, and you could find out about the generals. You could click on the units that fought. You could click on the specific part of the city and learn about that. So like it's like Wikipedia is such a great resource because like you can take like one historical event and then you can click on so many different links regarding that event and like just break everything down. Well, Finland was officially neutral during the Cold War, but it definitely wasn't pro-Soviet. That's why it was because of after Finland had it was after Finland signed a treaty with the Soviets at the end of World War II. GTA 6 hype. Thank you, Tyler, for the super chat. Thanks, man. Yeah, GTA 6 is gonna be very fun. I can't wait for it when it comes out. Why was Douglas MacArthur respected in World War One but controversial in World War Two? Um, well, MacArthur was controversial for a number of reasons. The reason he became here's the thing is MacArthur had a really bad reputation before World War Two even started. So before the war, in the interwar period, he had a really bad reputation. The reason for that is because MacArthur was one of the people who put down the Bonus Army March. So for people that don't know what the Bonus Army March was, it was in the 1930s, where it was a lot of World War One veterans, and these World War One veterans had basically were promised a bonus later on. And during the Great Depression, they wanted their bonus right now for their service in World War One. The U.S. government refused to pay out that bonus, and what the U.S. government did was they actually sent in the military, and they actually had these protesters put down with Sherman tanks, and they actually fired tear gas at these protesters. And MacArthur is one of the guys who actually led that attack, and just basically clearing out the protesters. And that's one of the reasons he got hated. Like a lot of World War One veterans hated him for being involved in that. During World War II, the reason that MacArthur became controversial is because MacArthur had left the Philippines. A lot of people blamed him after the Philippines fell, but I would not blame that entirely on MacArthur because MacArthur wanted to stay and fight. He was actually ordered by Roosevelt. Roosevelt ordered him to pull out because Roosevelt didn't want to lose him, didn't want him to get captured by the Japanese. So Roosevelt ordered him to pull out. So I wouldn't really say that that was his fault what happened with the Philippines, but a lot of people did blame him for that. Um, but what I will say about MacArthur is MacArthur's greatest accomplishment, the thing that he's the best known for, is it's not even a battle that he won. It's not even his military service. The thing that greatest accomplishment is actually rebuilding Japan. That is what his greatest accomplishment is. Like the modern day state of Japan, the way that Japan is today is because of MacArthur. Like Japan is a successful country because of him today. He is responsible for the current system in Japan, the current democracy in Japan. He is responsible for that. He built that system. He set that whole system up. He rebuilt Japan. He didn't let American soldiers attack Japanese women, civilians. He did not tolerate that at all. He did not. It was not like a policy of punishment. It was a policy of rebuilding Japan and helping to make them into an American ally. So a lot of Japanese people have seen MacArthur very positively. They like him. That's why there's statues of MacArthur in the country. So a lot of people see him as a very forgiving person. So that's why his greatest accomplishment was rebuilding Japan. That's if anybody's ever seen the movie Emperor. Emperor is pretty historically accurate in his role in helping to rebuild Japan. But that's why a lot of Japanese people, they like MacArthur because of how he helped rebuild Japan. Um, the stupidest thing that I will say that MacArthur did end up doing is did somebody somebody took the other one. Okay. I thought the other one wasn't taken. I'll go back and get it then. So the dumbest thing that MacArthur did end up doing is during the Korean War. So what ended up happening was during the Korean War, MacArthur actually pushed into North Korea, even though he wasn't supposed to do that. He was only supposed to defend South Korea. But MacArthur's reasoning was if we push into North Korea, we'll end this regime once and for all, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But the problem is that he got way too close to the Chinese border. And when he got way too close to the Chinese border, China started threatening America and saying, if you get closer to our border, we're going to attack you. Now, Truman, who was the president at that time, talked to MacArthur about this, and he said, like, are the Chinese a threat? Is this going to happen? And MacArthur said, oh, the Chinese aren't going to attack us. They just finished fighting their civil war. They're not ready for a war. They will not attack us. It's just all a bluff. Well, it turned out that it wasn't a bluff. You had over 2 million Chinese soldiers that crossed over the border, and those 2 million Chinese soldiers completely overran the U.S. They pushed the U.S. really back, and the U.S. ended up getting pushed all the way back to Seoul, the South Korean capital. So they lost all of North Korea, and then the U.S. pushed China out of Seoul, and then they pushed them to where the current parallel is, where the current border between North and South Korea is. Now, the U.S. was at a stalemate with China. We were fighting really big battles with China. It was about to turn into basically a world war because we were fighting against China, North Korea, but we were also fighting against the Soviet Union because the Soviet Union did fight against us in the Korean War. They sent the fighter jets, the MiG-15s. So when you see the MiG-15s in the Korean War, those were almost always piloted by Soviets. It was almost Russians that were piloting those. The Russians, for example, though, they wore North Korean uniforms. They wore North Korean uniforms, and they pretended like they were not Russians. So what the Russians did was they got a lot of pilots that were from Siberia, so like the more Asian Russians, and they basically tried to make them pretend that they were Korean. So if they got captured, they would say that they're Koreans, and they would deny all involvement. But yes, we dogfighted against the Soviets in the Korean War. Now the situation gets really bad. Truman calls a meeting with MacArthur, and he tells MacArthur, it's like, what the hell are we gonna do? We're fighting a war against China. This is getting out of control. How this is gonna get really bad. We don't have the resources to keep fighting this anymore. And MacArthur basically said, oh, my plan is let's just drop atomic bombs all over China. That was literally MacArthur's plan. MacArthur was like, let's just nuke China, let's just drop a bunch of nukes all over Chinese cities and just destroy them, and China will surrender. And no, you can't do something like that. It's just stupid. So Truman at that point said to him, are you crazy? Are you mad? And MacArthur was basically like, no, it'll end the war. The Chinese will give up. They'll stop fighting. It'll pull out. It'll end the war. And then Truman's like, no, this is stupid. It's like you're going to cause a nuclear apocalypse. You're going to kill millions of people. So Truman at that point ended up firing him. So that's where MacArthur basically gets his negative reputation at that point. And yes, Truman was 100% right to fire MacArthur. He was 100% justified. If I was in Truman's position, I would have fired him too. I would have had him removed too. So, while he might have been great in rebuilding Japan, it was a disaster what he was doing in Korea. It was just stupid. And just imagine if that would have gone through. Imagine just how bad that would have been. Like, imagine if America just nuked China. Like, just nuked Chinese cities all over the place. Like, in the Korean War. Imagine how bad that would have been. Like, the world would have been a completely different place. So, it was like Truman was completely right to fire MacArthur and get rid of him for that. But that was just a stupid situation, and that could have escalated really badly. Like, the Soviets could have nuked us in retaliation for that. So, literally, it could have caused an entire nuclear apocalypse. The entire world could have been ended at that point. Let me see here. I know that's a pretty long answer, but that was your answer on why MacArthur is a controversial person. I hate it when Chris upsets when gets drunk. Wait, what are you talking about, Aaron? Chris? You mean in Sopranos? Do you know much about Barry C. DEA informant? No, I don't know what that is. Daniel Rodriguez. Can you tell me? Maybe I'll know the story, but I might not know the people involved. Pro, you gotta let them know. They gotta open the oven straight line. No, I know what you're referencing there. Will you make a video on why it doesn't make sense why the Lost MC are in Los Santos and not the Angels of Death? After finishing all of GTA 4 last year, it's been bugging me. Yeah, I mean, I could do a video analyzing the Angels of Death. That is one gang that I haven't really done a video analyzing, and I could do something like that. Thank you, big fella, Bubsy, for the super chat. I sent you a phone message that someone took the bike. Oh, I guess I just wasn't paying attention at that point, Brandon. Best year for gaming in your opinion? 2008 was great. GTA 4, Saints Row 2, Far Cry 2, Call of Duty World at War. Yeah, it had a lot of really good games at that point. Is Empire of Sin good? It's okay. It's not an amazing game. It's okay. If you get it on sale, it's not a bad game. If you like XCOM, you'll like it. Didn't the Soviets and the Chinese also paint the U.S. as imperialist and common propaganda? Yes, they've always been referring to the U.S. as imperialist. Even when they do imperialist acts themselves. Well, Chris was an unstable person. He was just not a smart person, Aaron. Barry Seal was the smuggler that pictured Medellin cartel and Noriega in Panama. DEA exposed him and left him vulnerable with no protection. Wait, isn't that the guy who got shot? Didn't he get killed by like a Mac 10 or like it was like an Uzi? He got shot by like a submachine gun, right? It was like that was like I think I know who you're talking about. Didn't Tom Cruise play as him in a movie? Is that the guy I'm thinking of, Daniel Rodriguez? It wasn't Sherman tanks in the bonus army. It was M1917 tanks, American copies of the Renault tank. Okay, so I made a mistake there, but it was tanks. So I we all make mistakes. If you didn't do YouTube right now, what would you be doing? I don't know, honestly. I have two rental properties, so I probably would only be doing that. Uh, what was the Franco-Prussian War over? It was just basically a power grab between two countries. It was basically both countries trying to show off, and it ended pretty bad, and France ended up losing Alsace-Lorraine. Yeah, but you have to also remember, Visionary, that Dino Bannion blamed, he blamed, what was it, Johnny Torrio for an attack on one of his shipments when there was no proof that Johnny Torrio did that. Why did the U.S. Army do a good job fighting against the Nazis and the Japanese, but failed against the North Koreans? The U.S. didn't fail against the North Koreans. The U.S. destroyed the North Koreans. The North Koreans got obliterated by the U.S. during the Korean War. The only thing that stopped North Korea from completely collapsing was China. China was there, so North Korea got humiliated by the U.S. in the Korean War. What? Wait. You should rent a property in New York. No, no, no. Um, my parents are moving next year, and we've talked about possibly renting out our current home here in New York, but we're probably not gonna do it because New York is just such a it's such a pain. It's a bad state to run a business in, and it would be such a pain. Uh, and last thing we could my parents are gonna be like living in Nevada, you know, probably by the end of this year, probably in like winter time. And so imagine if like they're renting out to somebody and that person isn't paying rent, and then they have to deal with it, and they're all the way in Nevada, and they have to like deal with crap like that. So that no, it could be a nightmare. And going through like New York courts, it could. Would you consider the Battle of the Bulge the deadliest single battle America fought during World War II? The Battle of the Bulge is actually considered by a lot to be the largest battle the U.S. ever fought in its history. A lot of people consider it the largest battle the U.S. ever fought in its history. Some people think that Antietam is the biggest battle, but it's probably Battle of the Bulge. Did you know Australia had a war of emus? Yes, they did. The emus, they overpopulated. And Australia basically drafted like 16-year-old kids, people that were like too young to fight in the war, to deal with that, and the situation went bad. A lot of these guys didn't have proper training. Is that an M249 saw you're using a 50 cent? I think it could be, yeah. Okay, I see it, Tyler. Is it true that Germans thought the trench gun was too OP? Yes. So about that, countries had used shotguns in World War One, but the U.S. was that country that really started using it in mass numbers. And when the U.S. used shotguns, they were very powerful in trenches, and the Germans had actually complained about them that it was a war crime, and they said that if they catch any American with it, they'll execute them. But the U.S. just threatened to execute German prisoners if the Germans did that. So they did complain about it. But it's kind of ironic that Germany complained about shotguns in World War One when they were using poison gas, which was way worse than shotguns. I'd much rather get shot by a shotgun in World War One than die from gas. If you rented out your parents' home, I can't even imagine what you'd have to charge for rent just to break even. Well, property taxes on the house are about $18,000 a year. And no, my parents don't live in a mansion. They live in a 1950s middle class house in Nassau County. So it's $18,000 a year. But if you rented out the house, the property taxes would probably go up because it's not owner occupied. So it probably would go up to at least $20,000 a year. And so now you have to put something. You have to cover the insurance, the property taxes, and general maintenance for the house too. So you're gonna have to charge something more than that. So probably the rent would probably be $4,000 to $5,000 a month. That's probably what it would be around. How much would an actual mansion be? What in Nassau County? In Nassau County, like an actual mansion would probably be probably probably 5 million or more. If you mean, but the property taxes, I have no idea. Property taxes in a mansion in Nassau County probably 40,000 or more. In a way, Chase. But I do think his backstory is a little bit more interesting than Devin Weston, at least. Maybe Ti. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, but my family lives in Long Island right now, Javi. But I don't live in Long Island. I live in the Midwest. The most expensive house in my area is 45 million. I don't think they even paid $18,000 a year. Yeah, property taxes are just so stupid. They are. Can you explain the pig war? That happened in Washington State. That happened actually. It was like 10 or 15 years before the Civil War, so it was like right before the Civil War. And the backstory behind that, I'm trying to remember. The only thing I can't remember about the pig war is I cannot remember whose pig it was, whether it was an American or a British person's pig. I it was basically I could look it up for you, but what basically happened was one person had a pig. It was either what was the person with the pig the British farmer or the American farmer? Does anybody know? Was it the whose pig was it? Was it an American or a British farmer? Because that's the one part of the story I always forget is that part. The pig war was basically the third and final war between the U.S. and Britain. Like it was the final conflict between America and Britain. That's what it was. So it was America and Britain really had three conflicts. We had the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, and the Pig War. But the pig war could have actually blown up into an actual war. Like it could have actually gotten really bad, but it got resolved pretty quickly. But um, British. So basically, there. Okay, so how I know the story is it was in Washington State. There was a disputed border between Britain and America, or Canada and America, but Canada was part of Britain at that time. And there was a British farmer who had a pig, and there was like an American soldier that shot, or not, an American that ended up shooting his pig that went on his territory, and the British farmer was complaining about it. And the American farmer, I think, offered him compensation, but the British farmer actually wanted much more than what the pig was worth. And then the British farmer went to the British military for help, and then the American went to the American military for help. And then what ended up happening was you had American and British warships that were basically staring down each other, ready to open fire on each other. And then they ended up negotiating. They basically met on one of the ships, and they negotiated an end to it. So literally, a war between Britain and America almost started because of a pig that got shot. So literally, that's kind of funny when you think about it, actually, but it is kind of messed up at the same time too. Okay, two more drops here. No, I haven't. Naruto. What was the most disappointing protagonist ending in Rockstar history? I don't know. I guess it might be maybe Chinatown Wars because we really don't know what happened to Huang after that. No, Mason. Ambient electronic music like the one in the Journey radio. I don't know. I'd have to listen to a little bit of it. There's also the football war. That was another one that got pretty bad. In GTA, do you like ending A or B more? C, I like, but if I had to decide who to kill, it would probably be Trevor to kill most likely. That makes the most sense. Have I ever been to Japan? No. I really want to go. Yes, that happened in Colorado. It's called the Killdozer with Skiff when that happened. What was the best GTA game you played? GTA 4. I like, I'm from New York, so I like GTA 4. I like the seriousness, the tone of the story. Well, I don't know how to answer that question, Dead Blood. The bird, you'd probably have a higher chance of survival, but both of those guys are just psychopaths. Like both of those guys are just really, evil, bad people. Uh, Amon Goth got hanged in Poland at the end of World War II, and the bird never got punished for what he did, but he did. I remember the Olympic runner, the guy who got tortured by him with the log. He wanted to actually meet with him after the war, like just to forgive him for what he had done, but he refused to even meet with him. So like that was it. So like he was willing to look past it and forgive him. Like that shows like that 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 guy has like a lot of like that the guy who went through that has like a lot of morals. The American guy, I forget the guy's name, but like a lot of people would not be willing to forgive somebody for something like that. They wouldn't. Uh, they wouldn't be able to forgive someone for like. But he's got a lot of he's a really decent person inside. He's willing to forgive somebody for something like that. Unbroken is the movie, yes, but what was the guy's name though? The American guy, the runner. He was like an Olympic runner before the war. I know that. Do you have a playlist where you talk more about the Sopranos show? Not really. I do have a playlist of the Sopranos game where I talk a lot about the show. If you want to watch that, the show I usually just mention it in Louis Zamperini is the runner. Okay, that was him. Yeah. So he was willing to forgive him. He was willing to forgive him after that, and he wanted to meet with him, but he refused to meet with him. What do you think about the Killdozer situation? The Killdozer. What's really sad about the Killdozer situation is that entire thing could have been completely avoided. Like this, the whole thing could have been completely avoided, but it was a bunch of corrupt officials in the government, corrupt reporters that ruined this guy's life. And what's really sad about that situation that nobody from the government was punished for that. Like nobody was actually arrested afterwards for that. Like it was like a lot of the corrupt people got away with what they did. Basically, what happened was in the I think it was the early 2000s when Killdozer happened. I know it was like over 20 years ago. This guy moved to this small town in Colorado, and he wanted to open, I think it was a muffler shop, or it was some kind of mechanic shop. And the guy who opened up the mechanic shop, there was some large company in the area that was trying to buy his land, and he refused. He just wanted to run his shop on it. And what that company did was they went to the local government, and they got involved with some corrupt government officials, and they basically got those corrupt government officials to start harassing that guy, where they started fining him for like ridiculous things that he shouldn't have been fined for. Like they were saying like he had some safety regulations or some pipes or something like that that wasn't like up to code, and it was like just a bunch of just ridiculous fines that the government was throwing at him because the government was in league with this company. And the town newspaper was also corrupt. They were in on this, and they started slandering that guy. So they started like writing about that guy, saying that that guy's like a horrible person, and the fines just started piling up and piling up, and the guy couldn't pay off the fines. And what ended up happening was the government actually blocked off his business. So they did like a roadblock where nobody could actually go to his business. They shut down his business. And that was that guy's livelihood. That was his dream. It was his business. That was like what he worked for his entire life to get that business. And the guy was like a master welder. And the guy basically got like really pissed off about what happened. He basically made like a bulldozer into almost like an impenetrable tank, a bulletproof tank. And he basically drove through the town. He destroyed the mayor's house. I think he destroyed the police station too. He destroyed the newspaper building. He destroyed like the company's headquarters. He basically was getting revenge on everybody he thought that like wronged him. And then afterwards, when his bulldozer got stuck, he just shot himself. He killed himself inside the tank. The governor of Colorado was actually considering calling in the National Guard and using Apache helicopters to actually blow up the killdozer because they couldn't stop it. So I don't support necessarily what the guy did. Violence is never the answer. But the only thing I'll say about that is that situation could have been completely avoided because that guy was basically pushed into a corner. It was like a guy who was just a guy who was just trying to run his business, but it was a bunch of like corrupt government officials and like scumbag corporations that were trying to take his land from him, and he basically was he felt like his whole entire livelihood was at risk. He thought he was going to lose everything, and he snapped. And that's ultimately what happened. And it's so sad that nobody from the government was arrested for that. Nobody was investigated for like what they did, because like those government officials basically caused that whole thing to happen. Like they instigated that whole thing. And that's the thing is even like good people can snap. Even good people, when people are like pushed to the breaking point, anybody can basically snap. And that guy felt like he was basically pushed to the breaking point. So again, I'm not necessarily defending what he did, but I feel like those companies, like what the government did to that guy, is that they basically caused him to snap. They basically pushed him into a corner, and it was like the whole thing was just sad. He didn't end up killing anybody, by the way, for people wondering. He didn't kill anybody in the entire rampage. He just destroyed most of the town, and then he ended up killing himself. But that was it was like a very sad situation. It was. Well, yeah, he didn't want to apologize for what he did in Perion. GTA 6 isn't going to be woke. Don't worry about it. It's not going to happen. It's not socialist to play as a woman in a game, George. It's I I don't understand your reasoning there. And I will tell you something. There was this there was this American soldier that recently got arrested because he went on the market and he bet on the betting markets that Maduro was going to be removed from power, because people could actually bet on that. Like that was stuff that people could bet on. And he bet that Maduro would be removed from power to dictator, and he was one of the soldiers that was involved in the operation. He bet $32,000, and then overnight he turned that into $400,000. So he basically, 10 times his money overnight. Now, what he did, technically illegal, but what I will say about that situation is I think that it's so ridiculous that a soldier gets arrested for something like that ended up removing a dictator from power, And meanwhile, the politicians who do insider trading don't get arrested. So all the politicians that do insider trading, they don't get arrested. But the guy who basically puts the bet on the dictator getting removed, that guy ends up getting, arrested. I think that that's ridiculous. So that's basically what I'll say is, yes, he did technically break the law, but I will say that it's you got to enforce the law fairly. It's either you have rules or you don't have rules. That's basically how it is. You either have rules or you don't have rules. You can't enforce the rules for one person, but then don't enforce the rules for other people. Because if the government would have gone after people for insider trading the same way that they would have gone after that soldier who bet on that, literally half the politicians would be in prison. What if the Friday Agreement didn't happen? What are you talking about? The Good Friday Agreement in Britain? Is that what you're talking about, Aaron? Wait, is Toshia here in chat? I don't see his comments. Is he here in chat? Yeah, no, I don't see him. His.
We gonna make this sale?
Mhm. And I honestly, the way that I see it, uh, uh, the way that I see it is what that guy did, betting that money, is no different than what these politicians do. Like what these politicians do with their insider trading constantly. They do that. Like these politicians, they know about companies. Like they know about laws that are coming up, and then what they do is they buy stocks in that. And insider trading is very difficult to prove that somebody did it because you have to prove that they knew about it, which is very difficult to prove that somebody had extra knowledge, early knowledge about something like that. So it's one of the hardest crimes to prosecute, but a lot of these politicians are guilty of it. If you ever wonder how a lot of politicians, they go into office and then within like a couple of years they got like 30-40 million dollars, that's what they do. It's insider trading. It's literally that. They know that laws are going to be coming up, and then what they do is they just buy stocks in companies that they know are going to be shooting up. So like for example is there might be like a company that might get some like law passed, and that law might like cut regulation on a company. So like there might be let's say that there's like some regulation on some pharmaceutical company, right? And a politician knows that within a couple months a new law is going to be passed that will cut regulations on that company. So what they do is they buy all the stocks for that company, and then when the law gets passed, the regulations get cut on that company, the stock soars, and then they just resell it and they flip it. And that's basically how insider trading works. They know that something is going to happen with the market, and then they buy the stock early and then they flip it. And that's what these politicians do. They literally all of these politicians, almost all of them, like these top people, all of them do stock trading. Almost all of them. I think that honestly at this point is I'm just so sick of these politicians. I'm just so sick of them. Like all these politicians for me are like the scum of the earth. That like these politicians should be banned from insider trading. I don't care what political party they are, Democrat, Republican. I don't care. Just ban them all from insider trading. Nobody should be stock trading. No stock trading whatsoever. Like when you become a politician, you take an oath to serve the Constitution and you serve the Republic and you serve the country. You don't literally do it to get rich. So like there shouldn't if you're in the office, you should be making a minimal salary. The only amount of money that you should be getting is enough to basically pay your bills. That's how much money you should be getting as a politician. Enough to pay your bills and pay your rent and pay your housing. Enough for that. You should not be making more than that. And they should not be allowed to run stocks. What entity killed JFK? Well, we don't know. There's huge possibilities that it's probably the CIA that did it, because JFK was against Operation Northwoods, which was a covert operation to blame Cuba for a false flag and invade them. Yeah, it's always politicians are always above the law. Always, Isaiah, I agree with you. I'm honestly just so sick of them. In our country, government employees, even teachers, are prohibited from owning a business or taking part in anything private that generates income. What country are you in, if you mind me asking? What, politicians? Like I said, Swag, it's very difficult. It is very difficult to prove when somebody is insider trading, but it's kind of obvious. I don't want to make a direct accusation against anyone, but it's pretty obvious. You just look at all the top politicians, look at all of them, and just look at how much money these guys made from stock trading. Just look at that, and you can tell it's pretty obvious. It's all insider trading. Almost every politician does it. So literally, it's like if you were to arrest people for insider trading, you would arrest half the government. Literally, that's what you do. It is such a common thing. There is so many people that do it. It is so common. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I think that if you are a politician, I don't think you should be able to trade stocks. I don't think you should be able to. I don't know. I don't think GTA 6 is gonna have something like an oppressor Mark II. I can't really picture that. Well, then the IRA probably would have still been fighting Aaron. Probably would have happened.
Crypto.
I see myself more as a libertarian, Castillo. Cinematic executions in GTA 6, yeah, I would like to. I would like to see that. Do you believe the mafia made New York City safer to an extent? Here's what I will tell you. As somebody that is a from New York, yes, it depends. It can be. So I don't defend the mafia. I don't condone what these guys do. But certain neighborhoods where they operated in, yes, were safer than other areas. Like for example, the neighborhood that I grew up in a neighborhood in Queens. There was a neighborhood. This neighborhood was heavily controlled by the Genovese family. Genovese family, one of the larger families. That was the family that controlled my neighborhood. Now, about the Genovese family had several stores around the neighborhood, and everybody knew that they were fronts. Like, everybody knew it. We all knew that they were mafia fronts. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. And they even had like a veterans association that was in the area, and we all knew that it was a front also for the mafia. They had a few pharmacies that they controlled, and the pharmacies were all basically just fronts. I don't think that the employees in the fronts, were mafia backed. They were just regular, civilians, but they were all mafia fronts. Now, here's the thing: is it really depends on safe for who. If you open a business in a mafia controlled neighborhood, that is not safe for you at all. So if you for example like opened up a business in like a mafia neighborhood, they'd go after you, they'd demand you be taxed, they could harass you for protection money, they could do stuff like that. But If you are just like a regular person that like lives in the neighborhood, they're not gonna bother you. They're not gonna harass you. They're not gonna jump you and rob you on the street. The mafia has bigger fish to fry. They're not really gonna get involved in stuff like that. But I will say this: there was basically no drugs in my neighborhood, none, when the Genovese controlled the area. Like you didn't see that stuff happening. But when the Genovese family got, a lot of them got pushed out and their businesses got shut down because all of those businesses that I talked about, all of them got shut down later on, all of them. So they're a lot of those aren't operating anymore. The that My neighborhood, I wouldn't say that it's like a very dangerous place now, but it has gang members now. There's gang members in the area. There's drugs in the area. They'll rob you on the streets, stuff like that. So it's not like a neighborhood where it's like very very dangerous where you're scared to walk around, but it's certainly more dangerous than when I was growing up in. So to answer your question, does the mafia make neighborhoods safer? To an extent, it really depends. Because when the mafia is controlling a neighborhood, they're not going to tolerate any other gang, any other organization being in that neighborhood. So they're not going to tolerate gangs like selling drugs and stuff like that on their streets. But at the same time, is if you are running like a small business, they're going to go after you. Like if you are running anything in that neighborhood that's making money, like you're a businessman, the mafia is going to go after you. But if you're just like a regular working class person, they're really not going to harass you for the most part. So that's basically what I'll say to answer your question. So I'm not a fan of the mafia. But the only thing I was saying is that the neighborhood was safer when I was younger, yes, than what it is now. Let's see here. Yeah, I would agree with you, Isaiah. Have you ever watched Gotti 1996? No. I know the film, but I've never watched it. I've seen clips of it before on YouTube, but how did Rico end the mafia families? Because what Rico basically did was it allowed the government to go after the entire organization. So it allowed the government to link a single crime to an entire organization. So previously, where they could only like bust one person, they could now link that person to an entire criminal organization and go after that at once. That's basically what they could do with Rico. That's how Rico laws worked. Who was the worst Allied general in World War II? Oh, I don't know. It's probably some Soviet general. Probably at least early in the war. Probably some Soviet general. Probably in 41 or 42. Uh, what gun would I wish to own fire these days? Um, if you were to ask me what gun I would like to own, if I could own any gun on this planet, right? Any gun, the one gun that I would own if I could is I would want the Hellriegel. The Hellriegel, for people that don't know, it's an Austrian Hungarian machine gun that was never we don't know how the gun works. We only have pictures of it. We know it's a water cooled machine gun. It was like an early prototype. There's very few of those made. I think it was like 5 or 6, and we don't know what happened to them. So we don't know where those guns are. We don't know what happened, and it was during World War I. But it's like one of the rarest guns ever made. And if anybody found like a Hellriegel today, like if it even still exists wherever it is, it probably got destroyed during the war. But if it does actually exist, that gun would be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because like so many people have always been curious about how that gun works, like the internals of it and everything like that. Probably the Hellriegel. If you were to ask me another like a more common gun, what gun I would want, it'd be the FG-42. The FG-42 was a German paratrooper weapon during World War II. It was a semi-automatic rifle, but there was also a version that had automatic fire. So probably the FG-42. When do you recommend to buy a PS5 for GTA 6? Go do it now then, I guess. If you're gonna buy a PS5, don't buy it from Sony. Buy it on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. You'll probably get a better deal on there. Well, yeah, the Mafia would destroy your shop if you went to the police. Well, Ali, I answered this question earlier. It's impossible for Germany to not have attacked the Soviets because that was Hitler's plan from the start. He was always going to attack the Soviets. The FG-42, a reproduction, is the first time I'm hearing. You might be thinking of the STG-44. I read all as many comments as I can, Castillo. The super chats, I'll read all of them, but I'll try to read as many comments as I can. Is Gilly Master gonna play on PS5 from now? Like, is that what he's gonna play on from now? Is that what he said? I missed some super chats. Wait, what? Whose super chat did I miss? Thank you, AJ Shaw. And thank you, Jolly. Thank you, Isaiah. Yeah, I think I saw everyone's comments. Yeah, I read all these comments. Is it really safe for you to talk about organized crime that openly? They are petty and spiteful. Everything that I have said is common knowledge. So everything that I have said, this is not something that that only people in the mafia are gonna have or stuff like that. This is common knowledge. Everybody, most people know this stuff. So and at the same time as I'm not like I'm not involved in that stuff, but I'm not. It's not like I'm ratting people out or like saying this person did this or that. I was just talking with the Genovese family. Ran my neighborhood, and I was talking about like they had several fronts. Everybody knew they were fronts, and that's that. So uh, who do you think will be the main antagonist in GTA 6? A cartel boss, probably. What did Mussolini do to the mafia in Italy? Oh, he tried to wipe them out. Like he tried to just obliterate them. Thank you, Daniel Rodriguez. Hey, Trippy. I could try to add you too. Oh, great. I missed the turn. Okay, hold on. Oh, damn, how far is this turn now? Okay, hold on here. If you have the gun that Hitler killed himself with, how much will it sell for? And if you have a grandfather father in that war, and if you have their stuff, how much is it worth? Well, the second part of your question, Brandon, it all really depends on it all really depends on what your grandfather's collection is, because a lot of grandfathers, they have like World War II collections, but it really depends on what they have. Like some people brought back STG 44s from the war, and that is going to be worth a ton of money. Um, but the gun that shot Hitler, I wonder if that gun even exists. I'm actually really curious. Hang on a second. What? Because Hitler used a Walther PPK to kill himself. What happened to the gun that killed Hitler? Let's see. It was lost in the chaos of the bunker's aftermath, though it was likely taken as a souvenir by Soviet troops or destroyed. That's really funny when you think about it. Just imagine just some Soviet soldier just looting that. Just imagine just taking that as like a that's actually kind of funny when you think about that. The gun that killed Hitler, just some Soviet soldier that just looted that and just took that. That I, I, I just actually just find that kind of funny there. But if somebody actually found the gun that killed Hitler, that gun will probably be worth more than $1 million, probably more. Yeah, I played Midnight Club 1, 2, and 3, and I played a little bit of Los Angeles, too. Um, James, did you need help selling something? Or no, you needed help with your heist, right? And how the person checks if the gun that killed Hitler... Hitler's gun, I think, was personalized. It was different looking. Yeah, I played Midnight Club Los Angeles. SOCOM 3, Gunner. eBay blocked you because you were watching too many products? What? They shouldn't be blocking you for that. There's nothing wrong with watching products. Later this year, Gunner. James, let's go and do your heist right after this, okay? Why do you not like Ghost Recon Breakpoint? Because I didn't feel like it didn't have the same spark that Wildlands did. Where like Wildlands had like a boss for each specific region. You felt like you were actually kicking out the cartel, doing some damage to them. The enemies were boring in Breakpoint. I just didn't like it as much. Pro, is it messed up that Captain Price shot the guy for giving him the mask for the gas? No, because that guy was a war criminal. Yeah, I can take a look at my emails a little bit later. I'll email you a few hours from now, Granola. If you sent me something, I'll reply to you later. Well, dictators are massive narcissists. They care so much about their own image. Remember when I mentioned that whole Scientology raid thing? Now someone on Reddit is accusing me of being on their side. I'm deleting my comment. This is BS. It's called a moral compass. Yeah, and look, don't worry about what some idiots on Reddit are saying to you, Cayman. I'm not a fan of Scientology. I think that Scientology is a stupid religion. But at the same time, you can't be harassing people. You cannot be trespassing on people's property. This whole challenge, people just trying to run into like the Scientology headquarters and just harassing them. It's stupid. You don't do stuff like that. So, they still have the freedom of religion. They have the freedom to practice, their Scientology crap. They want to do that, go ahead. You can't harass people like that. It it's illegal. You can't trespass people's property. You can't harass them, and it's also violating their First Amendment rights. So it's uh so you are right on that, Cayman. As I agree with you, is that the people harassing the Scientology people are stupid. Is just because you're against harassing somebody doesn't mean that you support Scientology. So that's what I'll say about that. You can't harass someone. Uh, yes, there's an FG-42 reproduction by a small manufacturer called SMG Guns. You can look it up on the internet. It's also covered by Forgotten Weapons. And how much does this cost? I'm really curious. Probably an insane amount, though. Do I golf in real life? No, but I want to learn one day, Daniel. I do. Thank you for the super chat. Well, yeah, you can make the argument Scientology is definitely a scam, but like I mean, like running into their headquarters and harassing them and trespassing that is not going to accomplish anything. It just makes you look stupid. I don't want to get into the whole political drama, Ghost. I thank everybody for everything. Castillo. Okay. Are you trolling, Ant-Man? Who killed Blondie? If you don't know, that's Hitler's dog. Hitler killed Blondie. He fed him a cyanide capsule. Well, yeah, the Scientology crap is stupid. Don't get me wrong, CT. You can make the argument it's a cult to a degree. I mean, look at what the Epsilon program is. The Epsilon program is a parody off of Scientology. It is. That's how stupid Scientology is. But the thing about it is, I'm saying is that running into their headquarters, like doing some stupid TikTok challenge to like and harassing them and trespassing on their property is not going to accomplish anything. It's stupid. It's dumb. Let's see here. Oh yeah, the South Park Scientology episode was really funny. It was. You got 3 businesses left. Well, I'm gonna help James though Pearson because I have to actually go soon. So but you're still gonna even when me and James leave, you're still gonna have 3 people helping. So you'll be fine. And Brandon is here. Brandon, could you please help Pearson also with his sales too? James, let's do your heist.
No! Corporate stooge! Damn. They told you I was here.
Okay, Jolly, I'll look into that. Pluto, it's a crime drama TV show. Yes, I will, I gotta look into that one too. But, Pearson, Brandon said he'll help you, so you'll be fine. Don't worry about it, dude. I just have to go soon, so I wanted to help James with his heist, so. What comment? Robbie? James, are you inviting me to your heist? What's going on, dude? What the hell? That's the Lost? Well, prison is one of the places where that doesn't apply. Blinded ego. But yes, I agree with you. I think if somebody's working a job in prison, I think they should be paid minimum wage. I don't think they should be paid less than that. So I do actually agree with you there. Scientologists take advantage of people who are depressed and lost in the world. It's cruel and cult-like. Resmut, I'm not defending Scientology. I've said numerous times that Scientology is a stupid religion. And you can make the argument it definitely is a cult. The only thing I'm saying is that the people that are doing this TikTok challenge, where they're like running inside like and harassing the Scientology building and stuff like that, it's not going to accomplish anything. It's just stupid. That's all I'm saying. Doesn't mean that I support or defend Scientology. What was the deal with Ray Pacino and the Lost MC girl? That was Ashley. He had gotten Ashley addicted to drugs, and he was using basically Ashley to get to Johnny. Thank you, Daniel Rodriguez. Okay, let's do it, James. Here we go. Artwork? Okay, we got this. What was the scummiest thing Ralph did in The Sopranos when he killed Tracy? He killed a pregnant woman. Uh, well, I'm gonna be AFK for a little bit after Brandon. I've never heard about that, Liskiff. Your favorite character is? I don't know.
Okay, they're expecting these chips today, so get over there in the group sex van. Unless you're total idiots, you'll walk in without any problems. Seeing you dressed up like that makes me feel all fuzzy. It's like your kids putting on their uniforms for their first day at school. Only I don't have kids. Just some pretty basic AI experiments that swear at me in Russian and want to destroy the world. You know, we all love
I
our
think
own
Johnny Sack was one of the worst bosses. He was not a great boss, but he was better than Phil.
Okay, you're there. Drive in past the garage entrance and follow the road to the racetrack. The tunnel entrance is under the bridge. Don't forget, you are private security, like a cop who couldn't pass the fitness test or the psych eval. Look like you're really getting off on the power and...
A guy rode a lawnmower in Target? What? A guy ran over his son's video games with a lawnmower, and that's a great way to get your children not to talk to you.
Now play it cool. You're doing your usual day-to-day delivery job. You've done this 1,000 times. You're earlier than expected. This gonna check your VI number? Chip delivery, huh? Sure. Go straight through and leave her on the left.
Do you think Agent Harris genuinely liked Tony? To a degree. The thing about Agent Harris is, near the end, he was basically looking at it like, oh, New Jersey is my team. That's what he was looking at it like. Oh, it's from my state, and he wanted to be like investigating organized crime again. He was tired of the whole terrorism task force. He didn't like that. And then when Phil got killed, he felt like he helped Tony win that thing, and he's like, oh, we're gonna win this thing. That's what he basically said when like Phil Leotardo died.
Next security check's coming up. You can do this. You keep your cool.
Howdy. You looking for the vault? Right up ahead.
The Zero Lore video is coming out this week.
Alright, you're gonna need your key cards to get into the man trap there. Two-card system. Swipe at the
Swipe.
same time.
Yes! Come on! How much better does it feel when the marks are this dumb?
Okay, we're inside. Good work.
Keep going!
James, go right side. I'm going left. Okay. When's the next Blood in the Sand episode? Tonight.
Okay, so far so bueno. Push on to the vault.
Lawnmower and Target? What? People are stupid.
Oh, you're here. Why
I didn't say that. You're talking about Review Bra. A lot of people say I'm like Review Bra. I'm similar in personality and such.
Oh, that's a heavy door. Ain't much getting through here.
Did Harris know that Carlos snitched? He had nothing to do with that. That was not part of his thing.
Hey, that art looks expensive to me. Let's give it a new home. Good news. Seeing as we stayed under the radar, we have a little more time here. Now, your hacker can block the security sensors while you're in the vault, but only for a while. If the system goes quiet for too long, it triggers the alarm as a failsafe. And, did I mention that if the alarm goes off in here, they'll flood the place with nerve agent? No? Okay, well, I'm mentioning it now. If you're making good time in there, try getting into some of the lock boxes.
I have the game audio a little bit lower. Okay. Review Bra is also from New York. Is he? Really? I didn't know that. Your brother Billy, whatever happened there. I remember that too. Phil's like, whatever happened there? Okay, here we go. We're gonna get everything. James, when you're done there, get the final painting. Oh, this is the LA Noir painting. Okay.
Seconds.
15 seconds, we leave.
30 seconds. 20 seconds left. Don't dawdle.
Okay, I'm just getting out here.
Perfect.
Good work.
Time's up. Here comes the nerve agent. Get the hell out of there before you get a long fall.
Okay. Swipe, James.
Still under the radar. Perfect. Perfect. People, that is the mother load. We cleaned him out. Okay, let's see if we can make the way out as smooth as the way in. Get your key cards ready.
You have a favorite video game this year so far? This year? Not really. If you want to know my favorite game in 2025, it's probably Mafia: The Old Country. James, you get into the car with me. I think we can get Elite Challenge. I think we can do it. But you gotta get in the car with me. I'll rush there. You guys think we can make Elite Challenge?
Back the way you came through the checkpoint. Nothing to see here.
Y'all done in here? Hey, listen. That fella on the vault door? How'd he look?
Get in the cargo elevator and use your key card. Play it cool. Back the way we came is too risky now that you're carrying the loot. Let's fall back to the rear. Okay, I need you to stay calm. They've seen what you did to the vault, and now the whole place is locking down fast. They know you're still in the building. Just keep moving and keep quiet. Time to change your outfits. We need a fresh start if you're gonna make it out of here under the radar. Very sharp. Now relax, channel your inner self-important douchebag, and waltz right through the front door. They're closing in on us. We need to pick up the pace.
Okay.
Security is sweeping the whole building. Stay one step ahead. Or
Generation Zero, I'll come back to it and I'll do it again. But this Wednesday we'll do GTA 4.
The cops aren't letting anybody through the perimeter, so you'll have to do that the old-fashioned way.
Okay, let's do this, James. Here we go. The worst zombie apocalypse in a game, probably The Last of Us, because it's in the air also. That's what's so scary about it. Watching from France. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Spider.
You're looking good, but don't push your luck. Stay away from the
Ah,
cops.
crap. Our
You should avoid the bulk of the cops this way. The only thing that matters is making it to your ride. Remember, they know the vault's been hit, but they don't know who you are or where you are. They have patrols sweeping the whole place, and all the civilians have been evacuated. So if they see you, they'll know it's you.
James, just keep moving.
Their way, keep your cool, and get to the buyer. The driver has the getaway car in position. I've pinged you the GPS. Get to the buyer, don't bring the cops, and we're home free.
What's your fucking problem, man?
James, let me drive. I wish you could crouch. I noticed that the NPCs could always crouch in GTA 4 when they're shooting, but you can't. I really wish that was a feature. Wait, what just happened? Oh no, now we can't get Elite. Oh, well, that's Elite. Just don't badmouth Ho Chi Minh like last time. Yeah, that's gonna happen again. That was a disaster. Thank you, Jolly, for the super chat. And thank you, Caliber. What are your opinions of Walter White? He's a narcissist. He's a pretty bad guy. He wasn't that bad of a person to start, but you see what just ended up happening to him over time.
You're looking good, but don't push your luck. Stay away from the cops. Remember, they know the vault's been hit, but they don't know who you are or where you are. They have patrols sweeping the whole place, and all the civilians have been evacuated. So if they see you, they'll know it's you. So just stay out of their way, keep your cool, and get to the buyer. The driver has the getaway car in position. I've pinged you the GPS. Get to the buyer.
Damn, I hate how ridiculous the amount of damage the cops take. Okay, get in. What games are you gonna play through this year? Wildland, Ghost Recon Wildlands, SOCOM 3, which is next after Blood in the Sand, Red Dead Redemption 2. A lot of games. I want to play through Ace Combat 8, but we're gonna play through the other Ace Combat games probably before that too. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Black Flag Remake? Yeah, I'll probably play that too. Damn, this car is just so sensitive. Okay, is the helicopter? Nah, I don't really use those anymore. Um, it just makes the heist too easy and it's boring. No, I didn't, Brandon. I'll look at it in a moment.
If the buyer hears so much as a siren, this whole thing goes up in smoke. Lose the cops.
Okay, thank you, Brandon. Thank you for wishing me a good heist. I think Tony treated Hesh poorly for no reason. Yeah, it shows what hypocrite Tony is, too. You know, never should have gotten that drink with Henry. Yeah, he shouldn't. He should have just honestly told Henry to get the hell out of there. Would have saved him a lot of trouble. Ooh. Yeah, I gotta turn back performance mode back on, too. There we go. It's really ridiculous that I gotta constantly turn on fidelity when I do that heist, because it's gonna glitch out if I don't. Come on, just lose the cops already. Damn. I really wish this game had like a meter like Red Dead Online and Red Dead Redemption 2. Like that's one thing I like about Red Dead is it actually tells you when you're about to lose the wanted level. Like there's that little meter on the screen. It actually tells you right when you're about to lose it. Like GTA, you just gotta guess, like right when it's gonna happen. the compromise joke. It's kind of funny in with Sopranos. I make a lot of Soprano jokes when I was playing GTA 4. Yes, I did. I played the online modes. I was level 10 in GTA 4 on PS3. I like GTA 4's wanted system too. I don't know, Jack. I had to think about that one. I'm gonna probably wrap up the stream here, guys. I'll answer. I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm gonna have something to eat. I will answer a few questions before I go. So if you guys want to ask me anything, I'll answer your questions before I go.